Dear friends, welcome to Summary Club. Today, we are going to talk about very interesting country, which you probably know and not often met it on television and on the internet and probably never been. We are talking about Portugal, of course. What to see, interesting facts and a lot of interesting information about Portugal. So, stay tuned and enjoy the ride. Portugal is located in Western Europe, on the Iberian Peninsula. It borders with Spain on one side and washed by the Atlantic Ocean on the other. It is currently part of the European Union and Schengen area. The population of Portugal is small, about 10 million people, which is even less than in Moscow. The official language here is Portuguese. However, this language has the status of an official language in 8 other countries and in one controlled territory. By the way, this information you can find in our channel, which is voiced by excellent announcers, so choose what is easier for you to read or watch. Let's go. Some history about Portugal. Yes, its small state by today's standards was very influential in the world. It colonized many countries, both in Africa and in the Indian Ocean, including Brazil, Mozambique, Angola, and many others. But in the history of Portugal, at the beginning of the 20th century something went wrong, and the country was in the hands of a brutal dictator, António de Oliveira Salazar, about 50 years, which led Portugal to the status of the most backward of European states. And only in 1974, Portugal managed to get rid of a totalitarian regime, and after that it began to develop rapidly again. Modern Portugal today, garments, paper and cork are the main productions of the Portuguese economy. The interesting thing about Portugal, by the way, Portugal is one of the most important cork exporting countries in the world. The wine industry is also very developed in Portugal. Here produced Welton port wine. The production of olive oil, engineering, metalworking and chemical industries are also very developed in this small country. The average salary in Portugal is about €1,200 per month, the minimum is €700. The interesting thing is that everyone who works here officially receives 13 and 14 salaries. It is usually paid on New Year's Eve. Although, the salaries here are lower than in neighboring European countries, but also the prices here, much less. The government is loyal to new companies now, so there is a law stating that you may not pay VAT in the first year if the income of your business is less than $10,000 a year. It is also important for travelers by car that Portugal ranks 9th place in the world of road infrastructure, so the roads here are really good. The most famous and interesting cities in Portugal, so let's talk about the biggest and most interesting cities and what to see in Portugal. Lisbon is the capital and the largest city in the country. It stands on 7 hills. Walking around the city you need to go up and down. From the viewpoint areas you can see wonderful sights. On the edge of the city, you can visit Cabo da Roca, which translates as Cape Roca. Hundreds of tourists and citizens come here every day to visit the most extreme point of Eurasia. A Portuguese poet said about the Cape Roca, it's a place where the land ends and the sea begins. There are many beautiful bridges around Lisbon. For example, the Bridge of April 25, Ponte 25 de Abril, connects the capital of Portugal and the city of Almada. It is often compared to the Golden Gate in San Francisco. Vasco da Gama Bridge. It is named in honor of the Portuguese sailor who in 1948 paved a new sea route from Europe to India. The length of the bridge is over 17 kilometers. This is the longest bridge on the continent. The largest city in northern Portugal, Porto, is the main industrial city. It was the ex-capital of the country. The name of this city has given not only to the famous port wine, but also for the country. These 2 cities are the starting point for most tourists who come to Portugal looking for adventures and new impressions. There are many cities and towns along the Atlantic Ocean. Braga, Aveiro, Coimbra, Leiria, Sintra, and others. The Algarve is the most southern place of the country. Everyone who wants to relax on the ocean and go surfing may go there, cause the waves here are incredible. Golf, tennis and horse riding are very popular here. By the way, there are 34 golf courses with international standards. Also, in 2013 and 2014 it was declared as the best golf resort in the world. Another interesting place in Portugal is Fatima City. It's a small town near the capital, with a population of about 12,000 people. The town became famous after the appearance of the Virgin Mary. The Virgin Mary came to 3 children who were herding sheep. They said that she came to them 6 times in white clothes and always appeared above an oak tree in white light. Of course, the adults did not believe the children's words, so one day a lot of people gathered to watch. She appeared again, dispelling the clouds and stopping the rain. Afterwards, this event named in history as the Miracle of the Sun, Portuguese, Milagre do Sol. That is why this little town has the status of the most important shrine of Catholicism, so there is also a religious pilgrimage in Portugal. Portugal also has two islands, Azores and Madeira. They are quite autonomous and have their own regional governments. The Azores are famous by their pristine and unique nature. Magnificent lagoons and lakes in the craters of frozen volcanoes. It's home to specific plant and animal species. The island of Madeira has become famous for its exotic flowers and fruits, honey pie bolo de mel, amazing scenery and simply fantastic fireworks in New Year's Eve. This firework was included to the Guinness Book of World Records. Some good news for those who want to travel by Portugal. The climate in Portugal is very good, 9 months of summer and only 3 months of winter. Winter is similar to our autumn, no snow and rain does sometimes. People here, very peaceful and calm compared with the emotional Spaniards. They do not rush, have no desire to make all the money in the world. And best of all, the Portuguese are speaking English very well. That is why people from many countries around the world immigrate here. Also, low housing prices allow people from other countries spend their retirement in good conditions. The disadvantages of living in Portugal are high car prices. It is almost 30% higher than in Germany. But Portugal is at the 12th place for the efficiency of the healthcare system in the world, so it has surpassed even England and the United States. The Portuguese and Spaniards have always had an unfriendly relationship because Portugal was occupied by Spain for almost 100 years. Of course, today relations between the countries are fine and they are in the business of exporting. There are many jokes about this. For example, when a Portuguese gets a sour orange, he will probably say, "It must be from Spain." It is said that the real recipe is known only by a historical pastry shop in the city of Belém. And now, let's talk about important thing, about money. Portugal's national currency was escudo. But, since 2002, when Portugal joined the EU, now the euro is used here. It makes life easier for any tourist who travels by Europe. To get to Portugal has become much easier with the help of the Schengen visa. So now, all roads are open. Well, this is the end. I hope you enjoyed our small guide to Portugal and its attractions, about the habits and life of the Portuguese, who, by the way, adore tourists and are already waiting for you to visit. Our site advises you to travel more, learn foreign languages, gain interesting experience and knowledge that is available only in other countries such as Portugal. Also, read our other articles. For example, you will be interested to know about the best countries for immigration or the cheapest countries for vacation. Watch our YouTube channel and videos about other interesting countries. Choose the best and useful for you.seu on your next journey. And friend, don't forget to subscribe to the Summary Club for becoming more successful, educated, kinder and wiser every day. Save hundreds of hours and dollars spending on boring regular education. Feel free to write your opinions and questions about each video. We read all the comments. In addition, go to our official website where you can find reading materials or watch other videos on channel and links in the description. All the best.